Hey guys, this is Kyle and Travis with Beyond Bipolar Vlog again. So it's been a while since we actually posted a
9 freaking days.
It's been 9 days. So I've been coming across another Healthy Gamer GG, Dr.K's videos.
Can you reiterate who he is?
I really think they're very important. He posts really, really excellent videos. He's a really, really good psychologist because he knows how to analyze.
Psychologist or psychiatrist?
Well, he's a really good psychiatrist. He's really good at dissecting, analyzing, and pretty much kind of healing these individuals. But so I came across this video series. Dr. K was this kind of delinquent that didn't really do well in school. He had a 2.5 GPA, and for whatever reason, after his dad had a good sit down with him, that his dad told him to go to India to become a monk. So in order to become a monk, you have to get a PhD. So he ended up going back to the States, and he realized just being a monk was just being a monk just to get away from society.
Yeah,
it really wasn't his benefit.
In order to be a psychiatrist, don't you need a PhD anyway? Or
yeah, pretty much. But that's why he chose the psychiatry route.
Why? They're both PhDs though.
Doesn't matter. It's just he just chose the psychiatry route, and he worked. Through Harvard. So he's a really, really smart guy. And watching a lot of his videos, I've watched quite a few of them. The one that seemed to be one of the best and most impactful one was this talk that he had with Reckful. And Reckful, I'll show you. He's supposedly a gamer that was the top. He was one of the top Twitch people out there. And I'll tell you a little bit about him. He has a Wikipedia. He's a pretty handsome looking guy, but yeah, he made 952K followers and 115.4 million.
Look up his net worth.
I don't know about his net worth.
Just look it up. See if they find it.
So his net worth was supposedly $4 million, which is quite a bit. You could consider him successful. He is a World of Warcraft player, but the problem is he, according to this video, he had the story behind Reckful is the fact that he has bipolar disorder, and his brother killed himself when he was really young.
Why?
Because he had bipolar disorder too, and he was 21. The brother was 21, and I think he was really young, like 8 or something, or 6.
Why?
Because he had bipolar disorder, and
no, I thought it was a reaction to a med.
Well, according to him, he had a reaction to the brother had a bad reaction to the med. He had an antidepressant, so that's why his psychiatrist, Reckful's psychiatrist, does not want to put him on antidepressants. So there's a lot of psychiatrists that are against putting bipolar people on antidepressants. Maybe Travis can explain a little bit.
I hate to say it, I'm on antidepressant. I feel like it saved me because when you're on a mood stabilizer, an antipsychotic, you're gonna be pretty out of it. So I feel like that antidepressant has actually alleviated the...
Well, why do doctors don't want people...
Because it makes you manic.
So it makes you manic. So it's the problem of being manic. Who cares?
Because you make really awful decisions. Money, sex, you name it. This decision, everything's impulsive. It could wreck your financials.
So we covered that for a little bit. So basically more behind Reckful. Again, he is a really successful guy materialistically, but he is really unhappy. And they even dabbled into like the quantum mechanics that it depends on people's observations and perspective. So if you look at a cat that's being exploded in one angle, it gets exploded one time, but if you look at a different angle, it doesn't explode. So that's kind of I guess that kind of is the summary of quantum mechanics. I probably didn't really explain it as well. They call it the something about a cat, quantum cat theory. Let me look. Schrodinger's cat. So it's about a thought experiment that illustrates a paradox of quantum superposition. In the thought experience, a hypothetical cat may be considered simultaneously both alive and dead. His role of its fate being linked to a random subatomic event that may or may not occur. So basically, it's kind of like two different realities. I'm not an astrophysiologist or a quantum mechanics type guy, but he brought it up basically because he realized that people's perspectives are really people's thoughts basically bring out the energy of what is happening with your reality today. So he kind of has more of a spiritual take for him being a scientist. He believes in reincarnation. That's kind of an Indian thing too. But
what about with Jet Li and that movie, the one where you die and the other ones become more powerful with the multiverse? Is that real?
That was more of a.
Is that
that's
real?
kind of a signification.
Is that what Schrodinger's cat is?
Kind of like different alternate realities. I think that it kind of goes over than what the mental health.
Do you think there's variants just like on Loki?
Could be. But anyway, he talks a little bit about that. He really believes that the thought process is really powerful and it creates your reality, which basically, I'll talk a little bit more about Reckful. Basically, he was struggling with his brother dying really at a young age, and he didn't want other people to feel that way, so he wanted to help other people, and it made him cry because it was a really painful experience, and that's why he's living a life where he feel like he has no meaning and purposelessness, let alone, as Dr. K was suggesting, that he lives a life that really has no challenge. Everything's really much handed to him on a silver plate, so I know that could offend some people that saying, hey, why is my life so easy? It's not easy because I'm still struggling with these feelings, but he feels like the reason why he doesn't have purpose is because he's not having challenges. And that's what promotes a life.
You think money would make you happy.
And he pretty much died after his brother died, and he could never heal from it. And unfortunately, after working with him, as you can see, he talked to him like with 4 times from what I seen, and he ended up killing himself in June last year of July 2nd, 2020 during the COVID. So supposedly he was kind of tied with his girlfriend Becca. She's an Asian girl, a Twitch streamer, and possibly she rejected him. And again, it wasn't just that. He has bipolar disorder. He talked about bipolar disorder. The meds didn't really help him as much. So he ended up committing suicide, and it's sad because Dr. K was working with him for a long time, probably like 3 months through all that time, and in the end, he just didn't make it. And he had a lot of things going for him. He's a pretty good-looking guy. He's making money. He's successful, and yet he still wasn't happy. So right now, we're going to watch 2 videos about suicide and the perspectives. And
can you dive more deep in his girlfriend? Like, it was a girlfriend or it wasn't a girlfriend?
He was just interested in her, but he basically, it sounds like she rejected him. And he was also making a video game at the time, which I don't know if completed, but it was close to being completed, so maybe he didn't feel like there was a purpose. So let's watch the Dr. K getting emotional talking about Reckful. I don't think we need to. It's only 8 minutes. But we'll see.
And I think that despite all of Reckful's, out of everything that he gave to us, I think at the end of it, unfortunately, he was fighting it alone. And he lost. But just because he lost doesn't mean that you have to. So what happens when a champion falls? He gave us so much. Like, I remember, being like a 20-year-old kid playing WoW and like watching his videos, and I was like, damn, that guy's awesome. Like, I wish I could be like that good at WoW. I was a fan. He was a friend of mine. And what do we do when a champion falls? Do we stop fighting? It's a personal battle and all of us have to fight it. But you have to fight it, but you don't have to fight it alone. You absolutely don't have to fight it alone. And I don't want you to fight it alone, and I'm not going to let you fight it alone. I'm going to fight with you. But I can't do it alone. So I've got a pretty big HP pool. I've got 100 hit points. I lost 80 of them yesterday. I lost most of my HP bar. And I'm, it's kind of like in a game when, so my HP bar is flashing. And my UI is like red at the corners. Because I can't take much more of this. And every time I work with someone, I give a piece of myself to them. And yesterday, the piece that I had given to Reckful died with him. And what causes me to lose life is when y'all lose life. So spirit link shit. And what causes me to gain life is when y'all gain life. And I can do a lot, guys. I really can. And I tried with Reckful. I really did. But I can't do this alone. Because at the end of the day, I'm not superhuman. I'm just me. I have 2 hands. I have 1 heart. I have 1 voice. I have 2 ears. I'm human. I want to be more than human. I try to be superhuman, but I'm not. And we think about Reckful as superhuman, but he wasn't either. So this is the thing, guys. I can't do this alone. And I can't take much more of it. And so what I need you guys to do first and foremost is live. So every time y'all die, a piece of me dies too. That's what happens. A piece of us died yesterday. And I need your help, and I need you to live. And I need everything that we do here to be worth it. And I need you all to get better, because I can't do this alone. And I can't take much more of this. I need you to be better. I need you to be happy. I need you to find hope and meaning in your life, because that's what keeps me going. I can't take much more sadness, because I'm only human. I give a piece of myself to each and every one of you, and I give it willingly. But I don't have that much left to give. I just can't, guys. I'm sorry. And Reckful gave us the best part of him. I don't know if you guys realize that. He worked hard. I mean, he struggled with this for decades. Ever since his brother killed himself. And with Everland, he tried to create what he needed as a child. What was Everland? It was a place of connection. And he gave the best part of himself for us. Streaming, connecting, building Everland, giving us enjoyment. And he didn't leave enough for himself. So really what you guys need to do is be better. Take care of yourselves. The last thing that he's giving us with his death is a call to action. What do you do when a champion falls? You fucking pick up and you fight. You fight. You don't give up. And if we fight, if we do better, we can win this war. But you don't fucking stop. And just because he did doesn't mean that we have to. And there's a part of me that says that, you shouldn't blame yourself for his death, and you really shouldn't, because it's really not anyone's fault. But that doesn't mean that you aren't responsible. It doesn't mean that you have a dharma. It just means we got to do better. So take care of yourselves. Let someone else take care of you. Start to live and be an inspiration for other people. Get your shit together. And if you can't get your shit together, don't beat yourself up for it and let someone help you. Because I don't know how much longer we can take this. It's not just me. This is getting worse, not better. And it requires each and every one of us. And understand that if you want us to win this war, if you care about Twitch and you care about me and you care about everyone else, even if you're a piece of shit, you don't care about yourself, you better take care of yourself. Because you owe it to us to not have a piece of us die with you. Even if you're not worth it, we're worth it. And do it for us. So he gave us the best parts of who he was. And I am too. So don't leave us hanging. You owe us no less. You owe him no less than to give the best parts of who you are. And if you do any less than that, I'll be disappointed. Thank you guys very much for giving me this opportunity to speak. And let's not let him down.
That was one of the best, I feel like, realities of when your loved ones or best friends or family members die. What are your thoughts?
He's definitely really connected to him. I don't think he blames himself, but at the same time, he does hold that responsibility on the fact that part of him was with him. It was like a piece of the puzzle, and pretty much when you mess up that puzzle by committing suicide, those pieces go with you, and part of you dies.
That's a really emotional video. I feel really bad because Dr. K put a lot of work into speaking with Reckful. He idolized him. In the end, he couldn't make it. But so what's the answer to life? Why live? If it's not money, if it's not material wealth, if it's not success, fame, then what is it?
I think it's connection. Like, for instance, he literally took his life likely because of a girl rejected him.
That's just a speculation, though. There's more than that. I want to blame it on the girl.
Well, you're the person that dealt with me trying to commit suicide, so I don't know what you think. I'm not in your shoes. I just know that when you're suffering that much, you don't care about anyone. You just care about wanting to end the pain
Do
in your
you think
soul.
suicide's selfish?
Of course it is. I hate to say it. It takes work to make friends. It takes work to network. It takes work to make
What if
connection.
someone doesn't even want to work and they just don't care?
I still think they owe it to themselves. Else they are gonna commit suicide, and they either are gonna commit suicide or they're gonna be miserable the rest of their life.
So can we showcase that guy that's been complaining a lot on our that guy that's been complaining a lot. So there's someone that's been really sick of life. I can't remember which one it was on. It could have been this one.
I don't think it was that one.
Hey guys, this is Kyle and Travis.
Can you just check the comments here?
I don't know how to check it. But anyway, there's this guy that's been complaining a lot. I don't know what Travis has advice for him. Hey guys, this is Kyle and Travis. I think his I think it's one of the recent ones, man.
I'm afraid it's Max Kurt.
Yeah, his name's Max Kurt, but he replied in one of these. Give me a second. Is there a reason why it don't let me go down? That's not. What's this one?
Hey guys,
like get people worked up to join your team, and
Well, there's a guy named Max Curtin. I can't remember which one it was, but he is pretty much complaining a lot on
hey guys, this is
not
Travis
wanting
with
to
the
live, and I don't know where he's at because it was
Hey guys,
one of
this
the
is
videos
Travis
I've
with-
seen a lot, but I don't know where it's at.
To find, but being an ugly person.
Oh, right here. So I'm ready for permanent sleep, bro. Life is no more mysterious, no more mystery. I'm just done with life. So, what's your opinion on someone that just wants to die?
If things get really dire, which seems like I do have symptoms, please reach out to a professional if you can. I'm here to listen to your story, but for now, if things get so bad you're not safe, please call 911 and direct yourself to a hospital. I've been there, and when things go back, I do the most important thing, that's get myself to a place that I deem safe. Which makes sense. I'd probably do the same thing, but he's not in the conscious state of mind of doing it, so how the hell can you get someone to do it? You almost have to have a relationship to someone, a friend, family, or someone really close to that you had to drive them to the hospital.
So
And this guy doesn't have it.
So this ties in with our next video. I'm going to speed this one up, and this one is a comment saying about, I think, a person's son. They're saying that he is stupid to kill himself.
The door was ajar. We opened it, and I knew that it was too late. When he finally pronounced him dead and took his body away, it was like my whole world just crashed. My son never wanted to end his life. He only wanted to end his pain. My name is Jenny Teo. I'm 61. I'm a retiree. I'm also involved in social work, particularly in suicide prevention. I really wanted to have a child, yeah, and I had Josh. So when he came along, I was really, really, well, surprised, but I was so happy that somehow I think God answered my prayer. Growing up, he was always making me laugh. I was his mom, but he was my Mr. Bean, really. I remember there was one time he donned an apron and he went to the kitchen and he prepared a meal for me. He would whip out a menu that he prepared and he'd say, okay, please choose, and he would be the waiter, and then he would cook for me and then he would serve me. You know, when your child cooks food for you at such a young age, everything is nice. Yeah. He was under a lot of stress growing up. I remember I was at work one time, a couple months before his PSLE exam. I was told that he was being scolded because of his results. And then the next day, apparently, he fell sick with a high fever, and then after that, he refused to go to school. We had to bring him to a child guidance clinic where he was diagnosed with major anxiety disorder. That was really the start, because he went through his first major traumatic event in his life. The year of 2017, that was the year that there was just a lot of stress in his life. His father and I divorced. I was still in depression, and he was having a lot of relationship issues with a girlfriend who, for some reason, decided to reconcile with him after 1 year. It was just one thing after another. And then, of course, the final straw was when the girl decided to break off with him. He was so heartbroken because I think to him, in his own words, he said that the girl was his pillar of support, in his struggle against depression. And at the time,
I don't know. It seems like relationships can really kill you in the end. They can
agree.
build you up, but they can also break you down.
They really
I quit
affect
work
people.
when I dropped from this relationship. It was unrequited. I quit work.
A lot of relationships made you crazy. It made me crazy the first time.
I don't know. Relationships seem to be a
Is
big
it
deal
an
when it
adopted
comes to
thing?
committing. No, I think
Abandonment issues, or
I just think in general. Well, it does probably.
so. Do you recommend that mentally ill people, can they find love if they're that unstable? Why would someone want to be with someone that's so depressed and miserable? And do they have a responsibility for that, or should the person itself be held responsible?
It's good to be vulnerable, but at the same time, you got to build your walls, because if shit goes to hell, what are you gonna do next? You invested all that time, and then literally, you almost have to, like what Mel Robbins says, you got to stand tall on your own if you really want a relationship.
So you can't rely on someone else.
You can't. You want to build something. You don't want to use them as a codependency.
I couldn't be a support to him either because I was recovering from depression. It was like a perfect storm for him. It was like he was trying to quell a perfect storm, wearing a broken life jacket and being all alone in the middle of the ocean and seeing a tsunami in the distance. After his first attempt in the A&E ward, and I told him, I said, Josh, the doctor said your vital organs are still okay. You should have seen the look of disappointment on his face. When I got him home, I had to remove all the sharp objects, all the liquor in the house. He didn't want to go out very much, but even going out, somebody has to accompany him, things like that. We saw that he was like improving in a sense, because he would be laughing, when he's playing on his computer games and all that. To hear him laugh was like a relief to me. To me, it's like, yes, he is happier now, he must be improving. Not knowing that he was only coping. 2 weeks before he did it, he texted the girlfriend and asked the girlfriend, how are you? I miss you. And the response that came back to him was, I don't give the flying F, stop bugging me or I'll kill you. I think that was very painful for him. When June came, there was news of Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade having done it, and then subsequently he told his friends, even the celebrities do it. 2 weeks later, he was gone. I remembered I walked to his room and I wanted to check on him to see if he was alright. So I asked him, I said, George, what you doing? He told me, Mom, I'm okay, go to sleep. That was the last words he said to me, go to sleep. In the morning, on the 25th of June, 2018, I woke up and I went straight to his room because that was the thing that I did all the time. When I saw his bed and it didn't seem like it had been slept on, I quickly went downstairs and his grandmother was in the living room. I asked his grandmother, I said, where's Josh? She says, isn't he sleeping? I said, no, he's not in his room. We must go and find him. She walked in front of me. We were headed towards the study and the door was ajar. We opened it and I saw Josh lying on the sofa. I started screaming. His body was stiff and cold and his lips were white. I quickly called 999 and then SCDF called, told me to carry his body onto the floor and asked me to CPR him. I had to push onto his chest. All along I knew it was a futile attempt, but I did it anyway. I knew that it was too late. When they finally pronounced him dead and took his body away, it was like my whole world just crashed. In that morning alone, I had to absorb all that had happened. I couldn't believe it, that my only child, I lost him to suicide. I was a mother, I was divorced, he was my one and only child. When he's your only child, you know that somehow or other, there's no more future for you in that sense. Your future lies in your child. No one to call you mom. You're definitely not going to be a grandma, ever. So it was tough, it was really, really tough during my grief journey. He wrote in his suicide note, he told me, he said, Mom, please be happy, please be strong, please move on. I'm sorry, please be, don't do what I did. I think he was very considerate boy. He knew how the loss of my only child would affect me, but I understand he was in such unbearable pain. Try putting yourself in that situation. It's like someone hammering right, on your head over and over again. And if you were to put yourself in the shoes of that person, you're not thinking about anything, You're not thinking about your family, your friends, you're not thinking about your job. How can anyone say that a person who's going through this psychological pain, if this person needs the pain to stop, what has selfishness got to do with it? What has weak in character got to do with it? My son never wanted to end his life. He only wanted to end his pain. Please don't make fun of people who are in depression. And don't think that it is something that they can just snap out of, as if they have a choice, because they don't. And if you do come across people who are in depression, extend empathy towards them. What really encouraged me so far is that those people who watch my videos, or a lot of them actually, and they're young people, they say things like, after watching a video, I decided not to do it. After watching a video, I cannot go through with it. You can see it's a change of mind for them. That to me is suicide prevention. Although it's very painful for me to be opening up my wounds, over and over again. But at the end of the day, I don't want my son's death to be in vain. The next time when you hear someone someone lost to suicide, don't ask why suicide, ask why the pain. To me, my slogan is this: one life lost is one too many. One life saved is all worth it.
I think the title is kind of misleading.
But a lot of people do think that people that commit suicide are stupid and they're selfish, they're weak.
Yeah, but the mom literally said it's not because he was selfish, because he was in so much pain. I don't know why the video says he's stupid to kill himself. It has nothing to do with
just do that to get views. But I think the mom's really great. She went through a lot, and now she's doing it to help others. This is such a difficult topic to talk about. Sometimes I don't know. I hate talking about it. I don't know if there's much.
I don't feel that way anymore.
What?
Just I think talking about suicide is a topic I want to shove her in the road. I don't want to talk about it.
Why?
Just because I feel like I moved on, I feel better, and trying to relate to this is just, it kind of brings me down.
If Josh was one to scare his ex-girlfriends at ghosts, it'd be 100%. For some reason, I feel like 90% of people's mental health issues is related to sleep. But I think a lot of it does tie to relationships. Like, I guarantee you, most of the time when people go nuts, people go crazy, it's with relationships. Why do these relationships cause so much pain? And what do we do about it?
You got to stand tall on your own first before you actually.
Do you believe in the philosophy that you have to fix yourself before someone can fix you?
Like, when you are in a relationship, it shouldn't be a bridge where if something breaks, then the whole thing falls apart. It should almost be like, what's an example of something that you can build but it doesn't break down?
Bridges.
No, because if that breaks down, then the whole thing topples.
Basically, this whole topic is about suicide, and it brings me up the thing with Akana. This stuff is so negative, it's not the most pertinent, but I think it's important to make awareness. And to me, even though suicide should not be seen as selfish, you should not hate the person, you should not be angry at the person, 100% it affects other people. So,
I've been pretty open about the fact that my sister committed suicide in 2007. And I've been getting a lot of questions from people on the internet of like, I want to kill myself. What should I do? If you commit suicide, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know what would happen to you. All I really know is what happens to the people around you after you die. I think it'll be really, really hard for your family to live normally for a long time. And if you commit suicide, people will miss you a lot. Damn it, I don't want to cry, because if I cry, I'm not going to want to put this up. But it's a message I want to get out there. Okay. So I'm sorry in advance if I cry. I hate editing things where you cry, because you're just like watching yourself cry and it's awkward, and then you have to actively export that, which takes like 10 minutes, and then you have to upload it to the internet, which takes a while. So there's a whole process going involved in showing the world that I have cried at this moment that you're watching. If you commit suicide, your brother, your sister, your mother, your friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your child, all those people who really, really love you will be really fucking confused for the rest of their lives, and really angry, and really jealous. I'm jealous of everyone who has a sister. You know, it's been like 6 years since she died, and it's still really hard to talk about. I mean, you know, just a real way, like, because I can say a sentence here or there in a video, and it feels good to talk about it, especially when I try to put a message there. But like, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, there's someone who's supposed to be in your life right now, and they're not, and they never will be again, probably. And actually, most definitely, we all die. But it just forces you to ask yourself a lot of questions you're never gonna get the answer to. So it just feels like a lot of fucking unnecessary pain and like brooding and agonizing, and it feels so shitty, just so shitty and unfair. And then you'll wrestle with these same emotions over and over again every time you think about it. So you try not to think about it. But then if you don't think about it, you can't work your way through it. But working your way through it fucking sucks, because there's just so much of it everywhere. Everywhere you turn, it's there. It influences who you are. It's like a before and an after this event that you did. I am a different person, and I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but I fucking hate you and I fucking love you, and just don't do it. Just don't do it. So stupid. Death is stupid. I don't like it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what will happen after you kill yourself for a long, long time after that decision. And if you hadn't made that decision, then that's like how many extra years you would have had for things to change, you know? Stay awesome, Gotham.
So all these videos that we watched, I want to show and kind of prove to you, although it's hard to watch, and I don't know, there's not much to talk about, but I want to prove that no matter what you think, you need to feel so alone, you feel so depressed, it affects someone, either your loved ones, your mom, your dad, your family, your sister, it will always affect someone. So before you put your thought at the gun that your life has no meaning, you need to know that it's not true. I guarantee it will affect someone. Even if it's a relationship that you went through, it's a cliche that life moves on. Yeah, you gotta suffer and live with the pain, but you do get stronger and it becomes a lot easier. I used to be really insane with my relationships, but now it's just more easier. I just don't care as much because in the end, you need to value your own life, your own worth, your own love for yourself. And I know it's hard to do stuff alone, and it's good to rely on other people and ask for help. But you need to know that suicide affects a whole bunch of people in negative ways, in a lot of negative ways. In the positive ways, sometimes they could use that energy to provide awareness and helping other people to not commit suicide. I mean, we watched 3 videos where everyone was crying about suicide. What's your opinion? Where you wanted to kill yourself? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel remorse? Do you feel anything about it? What's your opinion, Taro?
I don't know. This, like right now, the strongest thing is that when you're suicidal and it's that painful, you want to move from it. You want to just, you just don't want to talk about it anymore, and that's how I feel. Because just,
but you made a joke that
it brings up unwanted energy.
But you made a joke that you wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah, it's. I don't
but
know,
do
man,
you realize? Do you realize that it affects a lot of people, though?
No, it doesn't. We laugh about it.
Yeah, but
we
it's
know
still.
what.
But look at these people.
We know we're at a better point.
We're the point that we can laugh about it, but look at all these people that are crying about it. So in the end, I guess the message of, even though this stuff was all, even though the message, I don't know, it was totally great, but the reality is that it affects people. Don't kill yourselves. I don't know if that's enough to.
I don't know.
Stop people
telling
to kill themselves.
Telling people to not kill themselves isn't enough.
Then what is the answer? What's the how to get people to
listen to them? Be aware of their insight. Be aware of what they're saying. Be aware of their feelings. It's kind of hard when they hide it from themselves, but there's like certain cues, like maybe they're feeling down. Like this lady, that first lady with that lady, this Singaporean lady, she knew there were things going wrong, the divorce, the relation. She knew this already. So there are things, events that happened before that you should be concerned about. And she knew that he had a suicide attempt, and that should be an easy diagnosis that something may or may not happen in the end. So just be aware of it. What?
Anyone that's suicide has to be open to meds?
Nah, I don't think so. There's some people that are bipolar and they go without medications. The thing is just, I'm a big proponent of meds, but I ain't gonna force it down your throat. I want you guys to be aware it helped me from committing suicide, but for you, it may or may not work.
With me, what happened with me is I just went out to talk to a therapist, and I've been having suicide ideation for a long time. I mean, right now my therapist is kind of annoying because she's been canceling and not very reliable, so I think I'm at the point I don't even need a therapist. But I think in the end, the real message that it affects other people, and we need everyone to support and realize that life is precious, and pain is temporary. It's not always lasting. And
try to say that to someone who's depressed and suicidal.
But so in the end, it's hopeless.
I don't think it's hopeless, but I'm also not that stupid or ignorant that when I'm unsafe or I feel like I want to commit suicide and go to the hospital, that's like the one safety net I understand now. Like back then in 2014, when I was very ill, even though I was miserable as hell, I was actually willing to go with my parents. They kind of coaxed me into it. My mom and my brother and sister,
So what the fuck made you wanted to live, though? I don't understand.
Just, I don't know. Like I said, meds made me, the Zymbalta made me, which is...
But you weren't on the meds right away. What made you not want to kill yourself? All those times.
The Zymbalta. Wasn't having suicidal thoughts as prevalent.
Yeah, but you weren't on meds, though. It
also has to do with stress. I think stress in general could really eat at you. So it's not relationships. That's a big portion of stress. It's stress in general.
Let's talk about...
I eliminated my stress. I don't work right now. I am doing things I really like to do. I'm taking things easy. I'm not in a relationship that might stress me in the end later.
Can you have advice?
I'm putting more financial awareness to what I have and not spending a whole bunch.
Grateful. Do you have advice for people that are suicidal after a bad relationship, like you and I? What is your opinion? And like,
Be
but
kind
you
to
always
kind to
bitch
yourself.
about Joanne, but it's not.
I bitch because I know it. I bitch because I've been single for 5 fucking years.
But it's not to the point where you want to kill yourself.
I bitch that an old dude wants a forehand massage and suck my and wants me to suck his cock, and the old lady that likes me on Zeus. But all that shit eats at your ego.
Is it better to laugh at it rather than kill yourself and just move the fuck on?
Say that to someone that's depressed. It's not that easy.
You see, no one understands. So give them advice, or is it hard?
How am I supposed to give advice? You just literally take it up the ass, and then you get over. You just get yourself over it after a while. Like after a while, you become more desensitized to it, and just whole thing. Whether it's meds, which helped me a lot. Like I was on Zymbalta when I crashed, literally. So the relationship was what killed me. The number one factor when it comes to committing suicide is stress. Regardless of what it is, it's stress. And that brings pain, whether it's relationship, money situations, a divorce, as terms of relationships, or any types of things going on at work, your friends, family, anything like that. Any type of support. Or meds, if you're not on the right meds. Things like that can happen, and shit will eat at you for a while. The only opposition I have to this is,
do you have to fight against it?
If you are actually suicidal, and this comes from me who, if I put myself in a suicidal position, I talk to someone about it first. Whether it's the suicide hotline,
and you did the mobile crisis support.
And I ended up doing that. And if
the cop came,
and if it required an IRTS, a group home, or a partial hospitalization, or even a hospitalization for 2-3 weeks, I went. I took the sole responsibility to try to get better, because number one, the last thing you want to do is commit suicide because you're in so much pain. You don't have to believe in heaven or hell, but taking your life and putting that position is very, very scary for me. And that's the biggest fear, is not because I might go to hell, it's because that last second, it's really painful to do it. I don't want to ever go to that. Maybe it's because I'm not courageous. Maybe it's because I don't want to go to that point. But at the same time, the fear of wanting to commit suicide and being in pain is actually what stops me from doing it. And unfortunately, people seem to not take that risk and commit suicide.
So let me ask you, life is fucking hard. Life is painful. Yeah, what is the reason for someone to want to live? Why? Is it because of guilt? So they
fear.
So fear is what drives you mainly to not die.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt myself.
So a negative kind of negates a negative.
It's like you're fighting the forces of, should I kill myself? Should I not kill myself? What's going to happen if I end up living? What happens if I do end up kidding? There's consequences, regardless.
Love that.
And
so nothing is scot-free when you kill yourself?
Obviously not. Like, even if you don't know anyone, someone's going to have to actually deal with your body.
Do you think it solves the problem then?
Might for them, but in general,
there's so
many people that take value in their life that it makes them upset. So you might be happy at committing suicide, but there's going to be people, whether intentionally or unintentionally in your life, that will affect them. I mean, I'm sure there's people that are in funeral homes wondering why these guys commit suicide, and they see a lot of it, and they're probably sick and tired of it because they value life. They might have family, they might have kids, they might be in a well-off to do life, and it really kills those people who are hopeful and try to fight for their life. But
I've been angry.
Try to fucking say that.
I've been angry approach.
Well, if it works, it works. I have nothing against it. It's just you gotta be careful about trying to take that on other people because it can make things worse, especially a depressed individual.
So I don't know if this video is helpful. It was definitely emotionally taxing.
For me, it was just I brush things off a lot easier now because I'm not suicidal. I don't have these negative thoughts. I'm not as hopeless. I get up, do things what I really need. I might actually go into a world where I blank out and shit, but for the most part, I'm not suicidal.
So the reality is things did get better.
Things will always get better when you're on the right medication, when you do find something that works for you, whether it's therapy, meds, life experiences, not putting yourself in a lot of stress. And there's people like calling me that that aren't in, don't put ourselves in positions where we're always stressed out.
Yeah.
Having to work a 9 to 5, having to feed ourselves, having an ability to put a roof over
We
our
don't
head,
have kids.
having these high expectations. We don't have this. We just take things
Not
easy.
married. So thank you, Dr. K and Reckful and the Royal Singapore Anna Akana for kind of describing your real most thoughts about suicide. The summary is we know it's very painful for both the suicide person and the loved ones that have to deal with it. So I don't know if this video helped anybody, but if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And Travis basically is kind of the proof. If you feel like everything's hopeless, if you think the relationship you laugh, there's no that you last had, there's nothing beyond that. That's not true, because in the end, Travis is still living. I'm still living.
There is a reason why that guy committed suicide and was disappointed, because
the Royal Singapore's
yeah,
kid.
there was a reason why, because he might have took his life, but at the same time, I don't know, guys. I can't give advice on this because it's so personal. Like, imagine the guy with so much pain. Put yourself in his shoes, and he wants to take his life. Do you try to convince someone, like a drug addict, do you try to convince them to stop smoking? Do you tell them to try to quit alcohol? You can't convince anyone. They have to be willing to. They have to have this willpower to want to live.
Fight.
And if they don't,
just like Dr. K said,
and if they don't, well, they're gonna pretty much hit the can, and I don't know. There's really nothing you can do for them. The hard problem is if they make friends with someone, and they're gonna be the ones up suffering. So, if you're suicidal, just try to think about the consequences. Just try to think about the consequences.
Like that. Love that.
Because that one decision
could save your life.
That one instant pain decision that you want to take your life is very short-winded. You might say, like Chester Bennington, he had a video where he was doing well, but then all of a sudden, maybe a day after, he ends up committing suicide.
Impulsive.
It was like impulsive. A lot of suicidal attempts are impulsive. They aren't
planned.
Like
Dr. K said.
So,
alright, this is a really long video. I know this is a very emotional video for some. I mean, even for us, we don't like talking about it, but I think it's very important to make it aware, because in the end, it affected a lot of people. And if you want to commit suicide, please don't. It only affects other people, and if you can't help it, try to seek help. The days will get better. Think positive, and that there exists hope, and my brother and I are proof. So take care, everybody. You have a good one.
And one last thing. If you truly are suicidal, just think about the consequences. Just imagine these people that are really well off, and you think you're just a number or statistic, but there's going to be at least someone in your life, whether you know them well or not, that might hold some type of responsibility for you end up taking your life.
Again, everyone talks about the suicide prevention hotline. You can actually just call them, or some people just like to chat, so there's a chat available too, so you can just do that too. So no matter what, there's always options more than the last option of killing yourself. So take care, you guys. Stay strong. Try to fight for it. And your life has meaning, and you'll eventually find it if you don't already have the meaning yet. It just takes time.
Please like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button if you want to see future videos. I'm sorry, guys. I can't really give you good advice on this because it's so personable, and if you are in that position where you are in a lot of pain, you do want to take your life. I've been there, and yeah, I might be responsible for ending my life. I might be responsible for making that choice, but it is my choice to make. You are actually maybe responsible for it, but you shouldn't hold that intention of feeling that you should be guilty for someone taking their life. You shouldn't be responsible for someone else's failure to live. And it's hard to get over that, especially if you have close loved ones like my brother. And I hate to say it, for me, the reason why I haven't committed suicide is because I'm afraid of dying, because even in spite of all that pain, I do want to feel better. and my family is the big reason why I don't want to commit suicide. Like, in the end, I might say I don't care about them, but deep down, I do have some care. I know, especially my brother will have that missing piece if I end up committing suicide early on. So, that's it in a nutshell. I can't really give you really good advice. I just hope you guys can kind of take this at first glance and think about things. Like, if you're suicidal, take a step back. Be mindful.
Go to sleep.
Take it easy. Do whatever you need to do to get through your day. Pat yourself on the back for just getting through it. Some people, that's all they need to live for, and that's fine. Some people
Sleep on it.
Some people are in so much stress. Well, do whatever you can to reduce that stress. If you need to get rid of a relationship, great. If you end up
Get rid of a job if you don't like it. Get rid of it.
If you end up being in a relationship and end up failings or rejection, that's really, really hard to get over. But
You'll find someone.
just pour that into creativity.
There's a
Pour that
billion
into
people.
your
Love that.
your work. Pour that in your hobbies.
Love
Pour
that.
that into activities you can do to distract yourself. Over time, things will get easier, and you'll be more desensitized. And things do get easier after a while. Just like when you exercise your brain, it's very hard to lift that pound, but when you get used to it, you become stronger and you become more tolerant, and with life experience, things do get easier over time. That's what you have to learn. Like with meds, I went through 30 different meds. It wasn't like an easy fix. There is no fucking easy answer when it comes to.
So it is
Taking
all
your
about work.
It does take work. It takes responsibility, and the one responsibility you have is take the effort to
Like
want
Dr.
to.
K says, you owe it to yourself, and if you can't owe it to yourself, owe it to everyone around you. So in the end, thanks a lot, guys. Love yourself, forgive yourself, and we only
Be kind
wish
to
the best.
yourself.
All right, take care. This is the longest video ever done. Bye.